Well, hello. This is Claudia Lasala here. This is the virtual brown bag. It's that time of the week, that time of the day when we get together here. As usual, I'll go through a quick introduction, give folks some time to join in, as well as a little explanation of what these meetings are all about, for those of us who are not familiar with it. So what these meetings are all about, it's a place for us to get together here online in the virtual space. We get together, we share tips and tricks. It could be tools that we use a lot that other people could benefit from, maybe shortcuts that we use a lot, articles, books, blog posts that we've read and we feel like other people could benefit from, languages, patterns, you name it. We share experiences, things that we've learned the hard way, and, sometimes figuring stuff out like that, and then, just telling other people about will just, prove to yourself that you actually know what you're talking about, that you really learned, or at least to get a different perspective, because when you share experiences, maybe somebody's going to come back to you and say, oh yeah, you could do it this way, but you could also do this other way, which may be a little better, cleaner, whatever else. Frustrations or difficulties. Maybe you're trying to do something and you cannot figure out why the thing doesn't work. Well, just bring it up here. Maybe somebody else has gone through the same pain already, or if not, we can just turn this into a live troubleshooting session like we've done several times. Sometimes we find the solution during the meeting. Sometimes we don't find the solution, but at least we can point you out in the right direction. And the idea here is really to have a conversation, right? You just, start up a topic and people start talking about it. That's how we roll. Logistics, we do this every Thursday from 12 p.m. to 1 Central Time here on live meeting. It's free for everybody, open for everybody. Anybody who would like to share or learn are more than welcome. This is a partial list of topics we've covered so far. As you can see, we've been all over the place. We tend to really go all places. It all depends on who's doing the sharing, and everybody's more than welcome to do the sharing part, right? So make sure to start sharing if you haven't been doing it so far. We have the official virtualbrownbag.com website where you can find more information about these meetings and recordings and links and notes that we post to the wiki. You can also suggest topics. I'm going to actually talk a little bit about that in a moment. But we are in the process of talking through some improvements to the site in order to improve how we handle meetings and notes and recordings and links and all that. So hopefully you're going to have something new in the next couple of weeks. The way these meetings work, somebody like myself or JB or George, whoever is available, on the day of the meeting, we'll start off the meeting like I'm doing right now, explaining what the things are so that people can get comfortable, and just start sharing and learning. And we keep taking turns. If you would like to share something, you can turn your feedback flag on live meeting to yellow. That way we know that you have something in the queue that you would like to share. If nobody's talking, you're more than welcome to just open up your mic and say, hey, I got something to share here. If you would like to ask questions, you can use the live meeting Q&A feature to just type out your questions, send links, send comments, whatever, right? And if you have a microphone, again, just unmute yourself and start talking. Here it's, it's not a big deal. Just start talking, and that's usually even better than just typing things out like that. If you're going to be sharing something over live meeting, we're going to promote you to a presenter through live meeting. That way you have a feature there to allow you to share something on your screen or your entire screen, however you want to do the sharing part. It's a very simple process. If you've never done it, just let us know and we can walk you through the process. You're going to be like 2 clicks away from sharing something on your screen and, just talk through it and why the thing that you're sharing is cool or important or why you're having trouble with it. Whatever it is that you would like to share. If you have any ideas, questions, suggestions, anything you would like to share with us afterwards, looking into how we can improve our experience here in these meetings, please go ahead and just send us an email, get in touch with us to Twitter, whatever. you can find us. We cannot hide anymore. With all that being said, so let's flip to the virtual brown bag side, because we always mention there is this suggested topic feature, which is something that we're going to be improving over the next couple of weeks, hopefully. And right now, the way it works is you come in here, right? There is a list of topics that people have registered. You can come in here and, just type whatever topic in here and do submit. This topic could be something that either you would like to talk about because you have just experienced the topic, or maybe it's because it's something you would like somebody else to talk about. Maybe you've been hearing people talk about, I don't know, F#, and you don't know anything about it. Well, just put F# in here, and then people can vote on topics, and then we keep coming back to this list and looking at what topics we have here. And as we go down the list, somebody may look at this Evernote tip and say, oh, hey, I know some Evernote stuff, I can share that, right? So we can come in here, vote for that. So I'm going to vote for Evernote because I'm a big Evernote fan. Take the time to also go through a couple more things here, like CSS. I would like to hear people talk about that. Let's see, Cucumber. What else? Yes, jQuery, RSpec. Right? You just go there, click that vote button. There's nothing big about it. It's just so that we can keep track on, keep focused on what people would like to either talk about or present or lead a conversation on, right? Everything very relaxed. That's the whole point here. So I guess as usual, I'll go down. There's a bunch of items. Every Thursday, like about an hour before the brown bag, I just go through my Evernote notes and I tag some of them as brown bag, so that I'm like, well, if nobody wants to share anything, at least I always have something to share, and I tend to put a whole bunch of those together. And today is one of those days where I have like lots of little things to share, and hopefully at least one of those is going to be helpful to somebody. So I'll start going that way, and then at any point in time, if you have anything you would like to share, again, just open up your mic and say, hey, I got something I could share, or just turn your feedback flag on live meeting to yellow. That way we know that you would like to be the next to present something or to share something. So this is something that I've learned about 2 days ago. So if you're doing Ruby and you want to do to format dates, right? So here you have something like this, and you want to format however it is that you would like to format. So you have some presets here, right? So you can click on the items here, and then you have the string format there, right? Similar to what we have in .NET, there's something similar to it in Ruby. And I'm always like looking up, what exactly do I have to use in order to format stuff? Well, just come in here, pick from one of the presets, and then just grab the format and drop it into your Ruby code, and you're all set. You can also build your own here. That's kind of cool, right? You can say, well, I want to grab like the 3-letter weekday, and then the month, and then, I don't know, the year, right? You just go building, and it builds that for you. There's a little reference for each one of those switches so that you know what they mean. So that was very helpful. Last week I've watched this video here on InfoQ from .NET to Ruby, and this is the same guy that wrote a book, Rails for .NET Developers, that I mentioned a couple of months ago, I think. So this is just a presentation where the guy, talks about his experiences, draws some comparison between C# and Ruby, and how to do certain things in .NET and how those things are done in Rails or Ruby. So it's kind of a cool presentation. I just had it playing on the side as I was doing some work. Let's see. Here's something else entirely different that I got from Twitter. One of my buddies there posted that he's been doing mind mapping with this tool here called Xmind. So they have a pro version, but they have also a free version, and that's the version that I'm trying out right now. I like it because it runs on the PC and it runs on the Mac. So nowadays, as I'm using both platforms on a daily basis, I've learned to appreciate tools that run cross-platform, right? Because you get exactly the same behavior, the same file formats, the same user experience in both environments. So that's pretty cool. So downloaded this tool, started using it. It looks pretty simple, easy to use, exactly the kind of stuff that I normally need. I don't need like huge tools to create all sorts of crazy maps. I just need something quick to jot down ideas and discuss some ideas and collaborate on some of those ideas with clients and fellow programmers and everything else. So that was pretty cool. Let's see what's next. Oh, there's a comment here from Helper. Let's see. Let's ask JD to upgrade, suggest a topic page to Backbone so that the page won't post every time you vote. Yeah, so and actually, I mean, we poke at JD just because he originally created a VBB site, but he's always said, look, this is open for anybody who would like to contribute to the site. So anybody who would like to, who sees that there's something that could be improved on the site, just help us out, right? So we have the code in GitHub, so we can hook you up, and you can just help us build the site as we go. And in fact, I'm going to mention about, give me like 5 minutes or so, and I'm going to talk about how we're going to start working on some of those improvements in the next couple of weeks. And then whoever would like to participate on that, that would be just very cool.
Yeah, and to balance out with it, because I look and sometimes I get annoyed, or like I let Ben have access, and I was telling him some stuff, and he's like, dude, I'm not going to hate. And my thing was like, I'm not worried about the hate. I just want the full story to know that this isn't like a site that I go to every week to work on. It's like I had that one afternoon at Taiwan, and I was like, I'm just going to crank out the rail site, and done. And since then, it's like, I think we did a little bit of cucumber test when you're first learning Claudio, but we haven't done anything. So, Alper, if you want to, if we want to move that to Backbone and have it more synchronized and stuff like that, that sounds perfect. Honestly, I think Claudio's going to talk about the new features he's going to put in. I think you'll probably just wait till after those new features are in, because then we'll just make the UI better on top of those features. And we can pair up if you want, and we'll do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, we could definitely do like one of those. We schedule like a pairing session that would be open for anybody who would like to check it out and, poke questions or whatever. And then now Alper says, let me learn Backbone first. Give me 6 months. Dude!
well, and we might combine it with George and I have to get together to do, he needs to show me CoffeeScript, so I need to get paired with CoffeeScript, and he wants me to show him Backbone, so we might do all together CoffeeScript, Backbone, making that feature cool. But so we'll see.
Sweet.
Yeah, you want to, we can record it when we do it too.
Yeah, I have the GoToMeeting stuff now, and I paired with Ryan once, and Claudio, he did say monad, so there you go.
I knew
How long is it going to be? And it's like, I was asking something about a chopper, he's like, yeah, this is a monad, and I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, he probably starts the conversation not with, hey, how are you doing? It's like, hey, monad.
Yeah, exactly. And then we paired last night on some styling stuff. And so it's been okay so far. I think our pairing went a lot better than me and Ryan. We just had issues that I wasn't very happy with.
I see. Cool. Yeah, you're gonna definitely try more on that. And something we didn't try last night. Oh, actually, I did try with Ben during the day when I was working with him on preparing for that session. We did try like him sharing his screen and me taking control over and just trying to type stuff, and man, that was a disaster. That didn't work at all. We were getting some, like in TextMates, I was like typing some just regular stuff, and we were getting some weird characters and commands on the screen, and we thought, well, maybe it's because I have my keyboard set to like Brazilian Portuguese, which sometimes I need when I'm like writing Portuguese, but it was not the case. And then we switched over to Vim, and then we didn't get the weird characters on screen, but it wouldn't pick up all the keystrokes. So I would type, like, not even how I normally type fast, but it was going to drop, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 keystrokes out of 10. So, and it would take like, I don't know, 1 or 2 seconds for each keystroke to show up. So we just gave up and said, nah, that's not gonna work. But yeah, next time let's see if we try something like that and see if we can do like a real pairing with like the 2 people actually taking control over the machine and trying things out.
Okay. I'll write that down.
Cool. Let's see. Well, since we just mentioned Backbone, that's my next thing on the list here. There's a blog post by Derek Bailey, because he's been doing a lot of Backbone, or so I see on his blog posts, and usually his blog posts are very, what's the word that I'm looking for? They're very thorough. He really explains things really well with lots of examples and stuff. And then here he's just saying that some friend of his asked, what he used to learn Backbone, and then he decided to make that email, the response, public, because there's a lot of goodness in there, like Peep Code that has been mentioned before, TechPub, and some other resources here. So whoever wants to start learning it, I guess it's a good resource. Let's see, next, something I found the other week, because a client sent me this XML file that when I opened the file, it was not like beautified. It was all messy. It was not indented. I couldn't quite follow the structure of the XML, and I didn't want to like bring up Visual Studio to open that in Visual Studio to have it format for me. And like, nah, it's gonna take forever for that thing to launch. And then quick Google search found this one site here that let me grab an example of an XML crappy string that I have. I'll drop it here, right? And just imagine a long XML string, and then you submit that, and it formats that to you. Like, man, okay, cool. Doing that took me like 20 seconds between the Google search and pasting the XML there, as opposed to waiting 3 minutes for Visual Studio to pop open. So that was good. And I was on my PC. I was not on a Mac, so I didn't care of looking at. JB, is there any tool on the Mac that that would do that quick for me? Like formatting XML files like that?
Not off the top of my head. I wasn't doing a lot of formatting XML. I do JSON, and I just use JSON lint to format that for me.
Okay.
That's the only one I know of.
All right.
I bet the web sharper thing will do that type of stuff. I did it for my HTML, so I added that to XML as well.
Right. Oh, the WebStorm.
Yeah, WebStorm. Yeah, that thing.
Right.
I bet it does that.
Yeah, actually, let me put that on my list of things to check out, because I remember, forgot his name, mentioned it to us, and you said that you started using and you like it, and actually didn't start using it. Maybe at some point you should do a demo for us here of the thing here.
Yeah, I was actually at this exact same site earlier this week because I needed to write an XSL transform.
Ah.
So it was, yeah, it's
run
XSL stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
And that's not fun, but it was a simple thing. Like, a client was giving us an XML file, and they're like, use that as a data store, and like, look at it, and it's like, this is crap. I'm not using this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I didn't even notice that they had other stuff like XML to JSON, and yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
And by the way, speaking along that same line, you know what else has XML to JSON? Just basic pricing. The JSON.NET converter. So basically, the requirement they had was we needed to do some kind of offline caching of like a big list of countries, because why go to the server every single time if it doesn't update? But they just gave it to us in XML. So, well, for one thing, I was like, I'm not using this crappy XML, massage into good XML with country nodes instead of SQL nodes. But, and then the other one was like, well, I'd just rather send it out as JSON. And turns out that JSON.NET has the JSON convert class has a static method on it. It just takes an XML document and converts it to JSON. Which was super convenient, actually.
Nice. That's cool. Let's see. Some stuff popping up here on the Q&A. And see this one from Scott. Very cool looking tool. If this, then that. Yeah, I remember. I think was it you, George, who told me about this site a while ago?
Nope.
I remember somebody.
So what
I
is
remember
this?
seeing this. I forgot where I saw it too.
Yeah. Put the internet to you for you by creating tasks that fit this simple structure. Yeah, so Scott, do you want to talk about this a little bit? Because I remember I've run across it, but I didn't actually start using it. Let's see. Scott, you there? I see that you're unmuted.
Sorry. I muted myself.
Awesome. No problem.
I haven't had much of a chance to play with it yet, but looking at what it does, I'm looking forward to playing with it this weekend.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, you roll down a little bit. It shows the kind of things that you can do. Like, you know, if you got, you want to find out when someone posts to your Twitter, or I guess example, if you put a picture up there, then it'll automatically stuff it in your Dropbox.
Right.
Or if you want to see if someone posts to your Twitter or something, you can have it automatically send you an email.
Right. Yeah.
You just hook all these different online things together and connect them in ways that just, I guess, just add to your creativity there.
Very cool. Yeah, I remember seeing it. It's been like a couple of months actually, and it was like they had it as like an alpha version or something. Now it seems like they're moving along with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Sounds like a good way to spam all your friends from their website. Phone call is an option. Interesting.
Yeah, that's nice.
What I saw, I think on Twitter, someone posted a link. I mean, they're calling them recipes, but basically things that people have set up that you could also use. And I've seen this done other places, but it was like send a text message and you'll get a phone call back. Like if you're in a meeting that you need to like have an excuse to leave.
That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
So,
brilliant.
You know, there were things like that. And actually, I don't know how their phone call system is set up, but I've seen some similar things done with phone calls through Twilio. And there was another service that was kind of like this that had hooks into, you know, a whole bunch of websites. The concept to me looks like it's one of those things for non-programmers.
Right.
Like instead of writing your own code to hook into all these APIs, you know, use the triggers that someone else has written.
Well, I can see I mean, I can see me using this. Like, for instance, I do a lot of, you know, I'm like on my iPhone going through the Twitter stream just because I have like 5 minutes of waiting for somebody or whatever, and then I find a tweet that I'm like, oh, this looks interesting, I need to keep track of it so they can read it more later. So I just direct message me that thing, sending it to my Evernote account so it shows up in my Evernote. So here I could say, well, if you find the following hash on Twitter, send an email, and then when I send that email, I can send it to my Evernote account so it shows up on Evernote for me, right? So for stuff like that, just for like filtering certain things, like, I don't know, today a lot of people are talking about some Rails conference, and I want to say, oh, whenever somebody sends the hash for that conference, and there is a word that says, I don't know, asset pipeline, for instance, I would like to see that on my Evernote because I want to do some more digging around. So maybe something like that would be helpful. Or also in Houston, like if the weather is like 100 degrees outside, then it's not safe to, you know, go outside kind of thing. So you don't mess your brains out, you know, don't melt your brains outside. So yeah, let's I mean, whoever starts using this and comes up with different ideas, just, let us know in the next couple of weeks what you've tried, what worked, what didn't work. That would be interesting. All right, cool.
I could do that for Twitter. Be like, every time Claudio tweets brown bag, retweet it.
That's right. Yeah. Well, there you go. Because usually what I do is I tweet from the brown bag Twitter account, but I also retweet with my account because I have more followers right now than the virtual brown bag one. I would like to revert that sometime soon, but yeah, that would be something useful for me right there. Ooh, taking notes of that. All right, let's see. There is a link here that Alper sent, a useful site for URL encoding, decoding. Cool. Yeah, so just, I guess, drop something in there and it's going to encode or decode the
I
URL.
think I ran across that too one time, and you don't need it, you don't realize you need it until you need it.
Yeah, actually, I did find something like that. It was last week because I was trying to send something using curl, and it didn't like something on my URL, and then I needed something like that, and then it's like, yeah, but I wasn't sure how to encode that stupid string, so.
It's actually really funny, turning URLs from complete gibberish into readable gibberish.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Great stuff. Thanks, Alper. Let's see. Okay, Dan has also sent a Gabi site. Let's bring it up here. What is that? RealTime Editor. Huh, interesting. Okay. I guess that's something like...
also something where you can do that type stuff with Vim as well, where like you connect over SSH and you can collaborate on the same Vim instance.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
I remember. Yeah, at the Ruby conference, I think you and Ben or you and Jesse were playing with that.
I wasn't messing with it. It'd probably been in Jesse.
Yeah, it was Ben and Jesse. I remember they were at that different room and we were attending to some other session. Cool. Yeah, definitely looking into stuff like that because I would really like to get more of the real pair programming, like online going. But with live meeting, it hasn't worked well so far. With Skype, it's not an option. With GoToMeeting, it seems to be down to, of course, the internet connection. And if it was something where it's just a simple text editor, that should be a lot better as far as the whole experience. So yeah, that's another one. Whoever tries this out, let us know what your experiences are. And let's see, I have just a couple more things to go down my list here, and then I see that George also has stuff to share, so let me make sure I go quickly through this. So one thing, Alper a couple of weeks ago had mentioned...
It's okay, take it down.
All right, man. So Alper had mentioned Vimium, which is like just to give some Vim-ish shortcuts to your browsing experience. So I started using that both on my Mac and on the PC, and I like because of that fact, since I run Chrome on both browsers, and essentially just installs the thing here, and these are the shortcuts that you can use. So if you're on whichever page and you do Shift and question mark, it pops up, just a quick reminder. So like if you want to scroll up or down, like, D for down, U for up, R for reload the page, GS for view page source, and things to search, or even like clicking links, which was, what is it, F? Yeah, right, it shows the little tags, like if I want to click on this one down here, press H, it's going to load the link. So that's pretty cool. Thanks, Alper, for that one, because I started using it last week and I've been enjoying it. Let's see. This morning, I blogged about the talks I'm going to be giving at Houston Tech Fest. So Houston Tech Fest is just about a month away. It's going to be huge. I mean, this year they're going to have 16 separate tracks. I mean, last year I think it was like 12 or 14. This year's going to be 16 separate tracks, like a lot of stuff. It's free. It's always fun. You know, we get our buddies hanging out there. We always get people coming from other cities, from other states sometimes. They just drive. I mean, I remember people driving from at least like Oklahoma, like Tulsa, places like that just to attend to this conference. So it's going to be fun. I'll personally be doing 3 things there. One is going to be my Adventures of a .NET Developer in Rails Land, which is essentially just summarizing everything that I've been sharing here over the last couple of months in the brown bag. I'll just, you know, compile all those things into a session and present that there, sharing my experiences so far.
I'll be presenting there too, by the way.
Exactly. We're going to be doing a jQuery one, right?
Yep, and is JB presenting?
No, he bailed. He has better stuff to do. Like
I was going to be doing the feature thing with you, Claudia, but then I'm going to be in England. So
yeah, it's like I'm so much better than you people.
Whatever, I should get kudos because I arranged a presentation with Ben Sherman and Claudia LaSala together. First time ever.
Oh, the universal.
And then you're such a big deal that you get to dump them.
Exactly.
That's right.
Like, I get to arrange it and I get to leave, and if it's awesome, I can be like, see, I'm great. If it sucks, I'll be like, not my fault.
See? Yeah, we are going to have to poke fun at you, man. I'm going to get with Ben and say, yeah, so this feature is here. It's just because JB started this site, and he doesn't give, you know, a rat's ass about it, so we have to fix it. So.
Exactly. I'm an ideas man.
So, yeah, that will be fun. So what's going to happen is during lunchtime, like last year, we're going to do a live virtual brown bag session. So it's going to be pretty much like last year. We're going to just, you know, open the browser, log into the virtual brown bag session so people can attend to it online, and then we're going to explain what the brown bag is all about, and then just do a regular session sharing stuff, and we're going to definitely share some CodeMath love in there. We're going to share some new features that we intend to have around how we handle the meetings, as far as like scheduling the brown bag meetings, adding notes and links to it so that we can do that as the meeting is happening, because like I have my notes in Evernote with all the links that we are sharing here, but it's always a pain to go back into the wiki and publish that. So what we want to do is to just be able to do that live on the site so that's immediately available to everybody. And then as soon as we publish a link to the recording, it also goes into the meeting, as well as allowing people to register suggestions for topics right inside the meeting. So instead of having like we currently have where it's open-ended, we will have something like, okay, for the next meeting, I've been collecting all these things or all of these experiences. If people would like me to talk about this, just cast your vote there. That way I know, oh yeah, people are interested in that, so let me just spend like 10 minutes putting together like a little sample or something like that. So hopefully you're going to be showing those features at the virtual brown bag. And then later on that day, I'm going to be doing this joint session with Ben, which is going to be how did we do those features, right? How did we take it from, okay, these are the ideas, how did we actually implement it? So it's going to involve writing the stories, creating some screen mock-ups where necessary, writing the cucumber tests, going down to our spec tests when it makes sense, and you know, going the full thing around it. So that's going to be fun, like seeing the features and then diving into how did we actually get there kind of thing. So looking forward to that a lot. What else? Early on this week, I just had a new post out on Ruby source, putting Ruby, Rails, C#, ASP.NET all in context, because I mean, I know that I didn't understand exactly what was what in the Rails world when I started, and when I get some comments in my previous post here on Ruby source, things like, had a look at Ruby, but no thanks, .NET remains the way for me. Like, it's clear that the person does not understand what Ruby is, what Rails is, what .NET actually is. So I decided to just put together this post, you know, what's Ruby, who does Ruby belong to? What's Ruby on Rails? Same thing, who owns it? What kinds of apps can we build with Rails? Because I get people asking, oh, so can you do a standalone app, a desktop app, a Windows app, a Mac app? So just trying to clarify on that a little bit. I always get the question like, oh, but in .NET I have all these components like the Telerik components and the DevExpress components that can handle, they have grids that can handle 30 million rows. And I'm like, really? Who cares? But anyways, it is important. It is a big deal to a lot of people having the fancy schmancy controls. And do we have those in Rails? Or if not, what people do about those? So I wanted to just clarify that a little bit. And it's been helpful to some people according to some of the comments that I got. So that's good. Let's see what else. Of course, some TFS love. Every week we should talk some bad things about TFS. No, just joking. I just ran across this 1 or 2 days ago. It's a blog post, and the guy has like lots of arguments why TFS sucks and what are his beefs with it, as far as like source control or version control, as far as bug tracking, as far as project management and stuff like that, as far as build systems. So the guy has lots of arguments about it, how it integrates, how it pushes the Microsoft way down your throat. So just something to read in case you've been wondering why people talk so many things, most of the time bad things about CFS. This morning I had actually created this virtual brown bag. Actually, if I sign out and I go to that link, because I figured everything that's a thing nowadays has to have a Facebook page. So I decided to create one for the virtual brown bag. So there, if people could like start liking the page and joining the page, and as we post stuff there, start liking those things, I guess it's gonna help us over time promoting the brown bag. And again, the more people we get here, the more variety of topics and the more variety of accents you get, and you don't get just the Brazilian kind of accent or the Texan kind of accent. You get something else. Not that our accents are not funny, right, JB and the other guys, but
yeah, that's what I figured out in England. I'm like, I wonder how they think I sound.
Exactly. We're gonna think that they sound funny and vice versa. It's always cool. Yeah, I remember hanging with some guys from England, and they're like, yeah, you have this funny accent. And I'm like, dude, have you heard you talk?
Yeah, you have the funny accent.
Yeah, it's like, man, it's fun. I love it. I love hearing people's accent. But anyways, it's just something, hopefully we can get it rolling and get more people liking the page and, more people here sharing over time. And let's see, just 2 more things that I would like to share. So this week I spent some time doing some visual styling and CSS, which I've been very much ignorant of until just 3 days ago or so. I mean, I hadn't heard of CSS. I've seen some stuff out there, but I hadn't actually sat down to do something myself. And I said, okay, where do I start? So first I've run across this blog post that there's like a crap load of like cheat sheets around like HTML and CSS and jQuery. So I've downloaded a couple of those and stuck it into my Evernote account so I can have like a quick, what are those stupid tags again and the syntax for some of those. So it was a good thing for me to get those going. And also I had gone back to this the W3 schools, which I remember George had mentioned they have lots of learning stuff. And
I said don't use them.
You said don't use them?
Actually, they've been a lot better. They, since our site redesign, they've been a lot better for like the last kind of year or so. But by far, like the gold standard, go-to Mozilla documentation. Just type in MDC after your search query, and they'll take you there, and they've got all the same stuff, but about 1 billion times better.
Cool, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Double
so what
schools comes up first because it's been around forever.
it's been around. Yeah, I mean, I've gone there because, okay, let me go through the basics because that's what I need. I need to go through the basics, and I like how they have this, okay, try it yourself. Oh, all right, let me try that, and then you can just tweak stuff here and see what happens on the right-hand side. Like, okay, got it. All right, let me try it on my own thing now. Because also the thing that this guy does not give me is like the SAS stuff, right? Because you've been sharing SAS the other day, and I wanted to get my hands into it as well. And so then just going through the SAS tutorial here, I mean, within, I don't know, like 6 to 8 hours, I could get my site to not look as shitty as it was like 2 or 3 days before that, and I was very stoked about it. I'm like, man, it doesn't look like total crap anymore. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, and the thing with SAS is, I mean, I would say just like start with SAS, because SAS is just CSS, but all the stuff that you thought it would have by default.
Right.
It just takes away all the surprises of like, really, it didn't have that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just some of the things like variables, right? Oh, damn it, variables. That should be a no-brainer. Functions, big thing, like with the mixins and stuff.
Right.
Also, because I was already using Haml, I already had my views sort of structured in a nested way. So, hello, the style nesting thing that we can do in SAS, that's perfect. That's exactly what I needed. It was totally friction-free. I mean, it took me no time whatsoever to convert my styles to SAS and start using it. It was just a given. So that was pretty cool, pretty stoked. And then last night, yeah, go ahead.
And for the record, do you know the difference between SAS and SCSS?
It's on the syntax, right? So the SAS syntax, it doesn't use like the braces and semicolons, and the SCSS, it's closer to the regular CSS.
Yeah, because that's just an important point that, like, in case you wonder it. Yeah, the thing, SCSS will work as a CSS style sheet. Like, you can give that as a CSS style sheet, and it won't, like, completely freak out and break. It might not. It won't apply all of your styles because CSS doesn't have nesting, but it follows the general syntax rules. Whereas SAS kind of goes off in their own direction with. And I mean, I think they're doing it right, but I'm not. I'm still sticking to SCSS because just for to keep the constant count low.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. Cool. So yeah, and then last night, just got together with JB for about 3 hours for some pairing, and he helped me out, like streamline some of the things that I was doing and clear out some of the CSS and stuff, and I learned quite a bit from it. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in and my goal is to prevent George ever sharing, and so far we only have to do 15 more minutes, so I'm gonna add some more time to that. The video I shared with you, I think it was more perfect typography on Vimeo.
Yeah, let me bring it up. I have it here on my notes.
So basically CodeNav exploded last week. Remember the brown bag I couldn't share because things were broken? Yeah, well, It took me a week, and I'm finally getting some things put back in place. But while I'm in there doing stuff, I'm revamping some of the styling, and I stumbled across this video, and it was really great. And one of the things he talks about inside here is about modular scale and using it for like the golden ratio on how to balance out your different font sizes and spacings. And the site he mentions inside there that you can use is called modularscale.com.
Yeah, to bring it up here. Yes. Oh, this is the SAS stuff.
Yeah, the SAS one. And so at modularscale.com, you'll enter your information, and it'll give you your modular scale based on whatever ratio, and using the golden ratio. And I was about to code, I was like, man, this is really awesome. I'm going to go code some SAS functions to do all this calculation for me. And then I was like, time out, before I do that, let me Google. And they have those functions already. Like, you can bring the modular scale stuff into SAS. And so
that's Compass, right?
What you're talking about, I think.
Well, no, but stuff that brings stuff into SAS, that's Compass, I believe.
Compass has some of that stuff, and this one you can bring in with Compass, And Bourbon has some stuff too, but I like the Modular Scale one more. The Bourbon one just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't like the scale and the numbering as well. This one made a lot more sense, and so I'm using this one. I did bring Bourbon into the site, so I still have it. But so far, I looked at the list of features that Bourbon was bringing in, and I'm like, oh, these are really cool. But I end up not using any of them because the buttons don't look that great. So I'm still using the CSS3 buttons for default, and the modular scale function, I don't know why. It's probably me screwing things up, but I just didn't like the results. So I ended up using their modular scale function. And so I've been very pleased with it, and I highly recommend that Vimeo presentation because I'm not a designer, and so I always get very frustrated because I'm like, I'm not a designer, and I can appreciate that designers get to the skill level where they can easily identify that this looks good, this doesn't look good. And they reach that expert level because we have that with our coding stuff. And you reach a certain level of your code, you can look at a code or a class and you can immediately see this is wrong or this doesn't feel right and start refactoring it. And so they can see that because they deal with designs all the time. But being someone who doesn't see design, who doesn't see this stuff, I'm like, I know you see this stuff, but there's got to be some basic rules that I can get it close to being right. And then tweak it because I was like, it's clear that when I do my design
patterns,
close to being right. Yeah, there's got to be design patterns and practices and stuff, and this is kind of hitting on that. And he even mentions it towards the end, which I was like, yes, exactly. It's like we need to capture this stuff into tools and things. Like we know this stuff. Why isn't this more packaged? And I'm like, yes, please, please package it.
Right. And actually, there was one of maybe the most recent Hans Silliman's podcast is talking about a similar stuff. He's talking to a designer that he had to redesign his site and about a lot of that. So I actually recommend that podcast. I'll check that out. An interesting one.
Yeah, he had a blog post that's like hire a visual designer and be happy or something like that. Mm-hmm. Right. He said, don't spend like a god-awful amount of time trying to do this, design. If you can just, pay somebody to get at least the core artsy part of it out of the way, so you don't have to be tweaking, gradients and transparencies and crap like that. Because one can spend a lot of time doing that.
I've been trying to find that, but it's like, I guess my problem was that every designer I've ever talked to and looked for, they're so busy. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so since they're so busy, the rates that they would need to charge is just so high. It's like I can't afford that.
It's tough to get a decent designer like that. That's proven because there's usually just a couple in any given community that just go around and around and around. But it's tough to get them.
And like just a regular designer, is like I can. Like, I don't want just a regular designer, if that makes any sense. Like, if I'm going to put money, like, I want something good.
Right.
Not like, it doesn't look like, because a lot of designer stuff like this is almost like a factory that they produce a similar looking feel, because small businesses and stuff, they don't need to make a super cool looking site.
Yeah, it's funny now that you mentioned it, JB, because since you had me, like, help you vote for some of those designs that you created through 99 Designs, when my friend with this project that I'm working on, he had some guys create some designs for him, and he sent me the options. I was like, man, some of those look like some of the ones that JB had for CodeMath. Like the color scheme, the way they draw some of the arches around things. I'm like, wow, they're just reusing stuff there.
Yeah, so a lot of the CodeMath submissions were like, I'm like, dude, you just have this in your portfolio and you submit it to everything because it's just like this could be an oil gasoline pipeline company logo for all.
Yeah, that's awful.
Like a good designer is one that's actually like put together a font or something before. Like maybe not that extreme, but that cares about stuff like that to at least dream about it. But speaking of podcasts, you were on a podcast. I just listened to it. Your Claudio, your CodeCast thing just came out.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think I had mentioned it last week, maybe. I don't
Sure.
remember.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I did mention. That's right. Yeah, I kind of got confused because like I recorded it like about 3 weeks before it came out, and then I got all confused when it's coming out and when am I talking about. So yeah, how do you like it?
September. It was good. It was fun listening, talking about it, just kind of fending off all those questions like, well, what is Rails?
It
All
was
that
hard,
stuff that we've
man.
been talking about here for a long time. And
Yes.
you can kind of like hear their eye rolling in your voice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not easy. I mean, because from the get-go, Ken had mentioned, look, I know zero about it, right? So
Right.
I said, okay, let's work with it. That's no problem. But yeah, like so you don't use Visual Studio to write your Ruby code? Like, no. I've been saying for a long time that I've been using like RubyMine or Vim or whatever else. No, I don't use. Oh, and then if you need to edit a file, don't you pop open Visual Studio? Like, hell no. It's a
Right.
text file. Why would I open Visual Studio to edit a text file?
Right.
But yeah, it was an interesting experience to say the least.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good talk though.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely do a couple more. I mean, Ken said, as I get more into it and have new experiences, I should go back there and talk about it. So yeah, anytime, it's fun.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So
yeah. So yeah, man, go for it. You have.
I have
time
well,
to
you know
share.
what? You know what? Yeah, I have time to share. That's fine. Yeah, I can take an extra 5 minutes. Let's share it up.
Let's see, did I make the
Share my
register?
desktop? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
All right.
So, 2 things. I mean, since we were talking about all this designer stuff, I don't know if you guys know about this website. Someone told me about this recently. What the Font, which is awesome. Basically,
What the font?
I like.
Yeah.
I
No.
love that site.
It's great. So basically, you have an image somewhere that you're like, oh, I don't know. Saw some font, and you're like, I want that font, or I want to match that font. Great for this is really useful for like photoshopping stuff or something. You have an image, you upload an image, it automatically detects the letters in it, and then matches that font versus its database of fonts that it knows of. So it's really, really cool and great design tool.
Very cool.
Okay.
Write that down.
Yeah. So I recommend that. Another really quick thing, I recently switched over my default browser, not in here because it's on a virtual machine, but I switched over my default browser to my default search engine in my search bar to DuckDuckGo. So I'm trying it out. I'm kind of liking it so far. I mean, they're pulling all their results and everything from Google, but this thing that I specifically like about it, and I mean, so yeah, like normally I'm just whatever I type up here is going to DuckDuckGo on my containing machine, but like if I want to search Google, I type bang G and then type in my query. If I have a search right here, I can type it in right there, and you can kind of see like it brings up a very clean thing. But the other thing that's really, and you see it's pulling in stuff from different sources, so they're not out of they're perfectly good for finding regular results. But then the other thing that I like is like you see like little recommendations on top of it, like try Bing jQuery deferred. Well, that basically, this is built by programmers, and they designed a bunch of shortcuts into it that are really useful for programmers. So if you type in Bing jQuery, it automatically searches the jQuery site for you.
That is nice.
Yeah, if you type Bang GM, it automatically searches Google Maps or whatever. So, I mean, I just set it up as my default search engine, So I'm liking it so far. I don't see much of a disadvantage to switching to it from Google, because if I want to force Google, I can just always type Bang G and I'll search Google. But this leads me to my next thing, which is that I discovered the deferred object in jQuery. And this is something that was introduced in jQuery 1.5, and basically it's meant to deal with masses, like the whole thing of masses of callbacks, and the fact that you're constantly passing in these callback functions to everything because you need it to be asynchronous. And it looks kind of complex, and it's really not. So if you look at it, let's go ahead and pull out. Let's pull up a JS Fiddle example of something. Let's see. So let's go deal with jQuery and give me an example of. Oh, I don't know if this does any Ajax. Nope, that's just using their thing. Hold on. Echo. Oh, okay. If you set it to echo JSON, that's what it is. Alright, so never mind all this. So I just want to be able to demonstrate this. If I go ahead and I do a regular Ajax request, it's something like this: .get, and then I'm going to do Ajax, and then here I'm going to say URL is echo JSON. So this is just going to send back whatever I send to it. Let me do echo HTML. Doesn't matter. And then the data I'm going to send it is going to be there, and then the the handler for it is going to be success : function open close, and do container dot and take access. So let's see if this works. Hopefully it does, and I didn't mess anything up. Or maybe I did mess something up. Let's see. You know what? I don't need this working in order to demonstrate what I'm talking about.
It's like that, but never mind, let's go.
Yeah. Wait, missing. Oh, wait. This is an easy one. I'm missing. Oh yeah, I'm missing a. Okay. Oh right. I'm missing. There we go. Still didn't work. That's okay. Whatever. You can kind of see that should have been a response. Really wish it had been a response. Well, I don't know, whatever. But you can see that what I'm doing here is I'm passing in a function that's a callback for this stuff. And this is going to be kind of, this right here is going to be what gets called when the Ajax request completes. And this can be a very large function, so it can kind of get a little messy because and it could have other stuff that's inside of it, so it's getting messier and messier still, especially when, okay, you want to provide the callback for what to do on a success, but then also you want to provide another callback for what to do on fail, right? So, and then, overall this isn't horrible, but it can get pretty messy. So as of jQuery 1.5, they've come up with a solution to this, and it's called the deferred object. So basically what happens is that all these methods like this, they return something now called a deferred object, which you can attach callbacks to at your leisure. So the equivalent of this now, and this syntax still works, but you can actually do something like this: var d equals there, and then later on in your code, you're going through and saying something d dot done, so which is the equivalent of what happens on success. And when it's done, I'm gonna go ahead and execute this function. And then you have some more processing d dot fail, attach this function. You want something to execute anytime it finishes. That's then you can attach more than one callback, basically. D dot then function console.log. So something like this is actually very, very useful when you're kind of writing your own little infrastructure code, which I ended up doing recently. And my issue, actually, was that the newest drop of jQuery Mobile kind of broke some of the code that I've been writing. So basically, I was in jQuery Mobile. It relies on pulling stuff over via AJAX, and I was injecting data about my pages via the pull, via that, about the specific pages via that, but then I had all my actual code in a single combined file. And with the newest drop of jQuery Mobile, there was no way to tell whether jQuery.ready would fire first, or the event for jQuery Mobile's page creation event would fire first. So I had to make sure that all my code did not run until both of those events fired. So with deferred objects, it was actually really, really easy to implement this. So this is going to be the copy script for it. And really the meat of it is this right here. So basically I have two deferreds, one for page jQuery ready and one for the jQuery mobile page create event. And then I create another deferred using the when utility method, which just says this deferred only fires when those deferreds are both satisfied. So when this guy enters a done state and this guy enters a done state, this guy will enter a done state. If either one of these fails, this guy fails. And then, so now I'm basically I just expose the methods in which I'm saying, okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark that as resolved. I'm going to go ahead and mark that as resolved. And then you can go ahead and query whether it is in a state. Well, okay, here, I'll show you how it's used, actually. And it's used something like this. So I have set up fire, in which case I'm saying mobile hacks page ready, page selector. So this is just something that correlates the particular page to its state. And then I get a deferred object back, and now I get to attach callbacks to it. And each of these, this will run only when both of those other events are satisfied. So it actually, because I had written this before I learned about deferred, and then I learned about it, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I need, and I compressed like probably about 50 lines of code into like 10. So it's pretty cool. I recommend you guys look at it if you need to know about, well, I recommend you learn about it if you're doing a lot of JavaScript and jQuery, because it is really, really powerful thing. It's one of the biggest things, in my opinion, that jQuery's kind of provided in the last year or so. So, search for jQuery's deferred object and just read this and learn about it. It's really not that tough. There's some pretty good articles up there. It just looks a little tough from the beginning.
Nice.
And that's it.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. I've got other stuff I can talk about, but we're out of time.
Yeah, next time I will just shut up, man.
Probably, I was thinking we need to get more of the code thing in. So I'm thinking of ideas, but like this last week I've been so swamped.
Right.
Mhm.
Cool. Excellent. Well, better to have a lot of stuff to share than not to have anything and just, go babbling. All right, cool, guys. Well, next week I will be out of town, but I believe I'm gonna have internet connection, so I should be able to join in. But George and JB, you guys just it's just a heads up in case I'm not around. I'll let you guys know. But if you can do the MC part there, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, and that pitch, I don't know if anyone on this call is around the Memphis area, but I'll be speaking in Memphis this next Thursday in 1 week.
Cool. What's the topic?
Let my lambdas talk.
Lambda? Cool.
Yeah.
So, dance the lambda.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Exactly.
actually dance.
I might. I've also come up with a joke, which is what question? What can I buy with some change? Lamb, duh.
Doo-doom.
That is going into a slide.
There you go. Good stuff.
Okay. All right. Thanks,
guys.
guys. I gotta get back to work.
All right. Thanks, everybody, and I hope to see you all next week.
All right. Bye.